What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 4, episode number 6, and the episode was titled I Wanda Have a Keke. Alright, you guys, so before we jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on my channel and are not subscribed to the channel, then I'm going to need you guys to do me that solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, sharing the video. And with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, we open up and we see Mel. So Mel is meeting up with Stormy and Kimmy. It looks like they are at Fuzzy's Tacos. So Kimmy comes in. When Kimmy came in, she and Mel, they started talking. Mel was talking to Kimmy about, her honeymoon. And, Kimmy is talking about how good the honeymoon was. And they had that conversation. Then Stormy came in. So after Stormy came in, that's when they started talking about, Mel's slumber party that she had, right? So, they talked about the situation between Stormy and Tiffany. And Stormy told that, they sat down, they had a conversation. She's still at this point trying to feel, trying to get a feel for, what's her name? Tiffany. I keep forgetting her name. So then Kimmy brings up the fact that, well, it was really interesting, though, at your party to see Keke there, right? I was just really surprised because, I've never really saw you invite Keke to anything before, right? So Mel. So Mel says, well, me and whatever, what is her name? Keke. So they have a mutual friend in common, right? So what she's saying is her and this mutual friend, I guess anytime this mutual friend says that she's going to go meet up with Keke, Mel says, oh, well, tell her I said hey. Okay. And she said that they've been mutual friends for you. They've been friends. They've talked on the phone. But Kimmy was in her interview. She was like, like I said, she's never saw Mel invite, Keke anywhere. So it was kind of odd that she invited her to the slumber party, right? So then Mel says that, when they do talk on the phone, that they don't ever really discuss Letitia, right? But then she's backtracked and said that they do talk about Letitia, but they it's kind of like they commiserate, right? If I have an issue with Letitia, oh girl, it's kind of like, oh girl, you got that same issue with her, me too, right? It's kind of the vibe that it gave. So they talk about Destiny. She talks about the fact that when she met up with Destiny, how things went right. That she let Destiny sit on the reunion stage, say they haven't talked, but then she had the text messages proving that I've texted her saying, hey, let's go out, let's do this, da 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 da, right? And I know that currently Mel went on live last week, and I know that Destiny went live last week, and I know that the text messages have come out, right? So I don't really feel one way or the other. I don't really care because I think that there's some blame. I think that there's equal blame to go around. This shirt just is not going to do right. I think that there's equal blame to go around on both parts, right? So where we at now? So then Stormy says, well, do you think you guys could ever be back friends like you once were? She says no. So then Kimmy says, okay, well, I'm throwing Jalen a housewarming party. Do you think you'll be able to come? And she says, well, who all is coming? She says, well, I was thinking about inviting Marceau and Tisha because they're family. And, I was going to invite Destiny because, there's no reason for me not to invite Destiny. And she says, and Martell, I wasn't going to invite. Oh, you're not going to invite Martell? No, don't. No. If she's inviting you, we saw how things go between you and Martell over the last few seasons. They escalate for no damn reason, and we don't want that at a housewarming party. Okay, so Mel kept talking about Martell. I'm just like, I'm not gonna dig deep into it, right? Because I don't care. You guys are divorced. Let's let it be. So let's pause here. And no, let's keep going, you guys. So we see Destiny, right? So Destiny, she's paying a visit to Martell, right? Now, I don't know why Destiny felt like she can go over to Martell's place and get some insight from Martell about Melody. That's a little confusing, but if that's what you say you're doing, I still question why you feel you can get some insight from Martell about Melody, but go off, set yourself off, right? So she tells him, she met up with Mel, and that, when they did meet up with each other, that things didn't go quite well, right? And, she said, she talked about the fact that she's talking to the ops, right? That is Tisha and that is Martell, right? Now, Martell said something that I do agree with, right? I do agree with Martell in the sense of, me and Destiny been friends for years. So I don't even know if Mel and Destiny are really like that close of friends, right? Because you only know Destiny through me, right? So how can you then come to my friend of umpteen years and try to dictate and tell her who she can't talk to and who she can be cool with, right? So I got what he was saying in that instance, right? Like, I got what he was saying. So then, that was pretty much it with that scene, right? Let me know what you guys think, right? Like, I don't think, because it gives very much high school, right? Because it gives the vibe of, how people back in high school, when say you got a friend and you got two friends, maybe they fought at one point, right? And your friend's like, oh, you still talking to that, but you my friend, why you still hanging with that? Like, that gives the whole high school mentality to me. But I'm going to pause here, you guys, and we're going to move forward. All right, you guys, so next up we see Wanda. So Wanda says she comes to Tisha's looking for Marcel because, her food truck is ready and she needs the deposit, right? Now, I will say, though, Tisha, your hair in this scene, beautiful. I loved her hair, right? So Wanda shows Tisha that she got her business license, right? And Tisha says, well, I talked to him also. And, I talked to him about investing into your company. But, Marcel just really wants to, basically wants to see the word from Wanda, right? But he was also really upset when you came over here and you was asking him if he had an apartment with Martell. So then she sits down and she's telling her, like, when it comes to the restaurant, right? So me and Marcel, we talked. Well, you can come to Black and I can show you, like the logistical side of Black, right? The data that, the operations, the back operations, right? And then you can also shadow someone else, like in the kitchen and stuff to get a feel for the business. And I'm cool with that, right? So then she tells her that, she sat down with Kimmy and, she and Kimmy had a conversation about what happened at the reunion, which I still find it ironic that Tisha was upset at the reunion when they had that conversation, when Carlos asked that question of Kimmy, would they be friends if they were not, sister-in-laws, right? And she said no. But then last week's episode, you hit Keke with that same line. It's kind of like pot, meet kettle, just saying. So, but, she says, things are cool right now between me and Kimmy. So then she tells Wanda that, when I was also talking to Kimmy, she was telling me about Mel's, her pajama party, right? And that Mel had invited, Keke to the party, right? And my name came up in the conversation. So that done riled Wanda up. So, Wanda and her curls, they ain't feeling that, right? And honestly, I'm on Wanda and her curl side in this situation. I can't say nothing negative about Wanda and her curls because I'm on her side, right? She called Keke a snake. I agree with her, right? Keke is showing snake-like behavior, right? Child, but what threw me in this episode was Wanda and this one saying that she had and something else she said, right? So Wanda says, she's called her a snake, right? And then Wanda says, I told you never to trust people who buy shoes that don't come in a box. I was like, girl, what the are we talking about? Don't trust people who don't buy shoes that don't come in a box. Then in her interview in that sparkly green ass dress, Wanda keeps saying, because Tisha was saying to Wanda that she doesn't want to say that she doesn't want to use the J word. So the J word is jealousy, right? She doesn't want to say that Keke is jealous of her, right? So Wanda in her interview, she says Keke is image of Tisha's marriage. She's image of Tisha's relationship. She's image of how Tisha is living. she's Image. I'm like, and I kept sitting there. I sat there for a brief minute, and I was like, is she saying Image? And I was like, she's saying Image. I'm like, does she? I'm like, I think what she's trying to say is envious. Girl, how in the hell did we get Image and envious confused? Once again, like I've said in a previous review, the credentials of whatever middle school, high school, and elementary school that Miss Wanda went to, we need to go to wherever they from and have them credentials revoked because the public school system failed Miss Wanda. If she ain't seeing women's and men's, sounding like Andrew Caldwell, this woman literally says she is Image of Tisha. Image. IMAGE. Not envious. ENVIOUS. She said image. Image. Like the image of a person. Like the image that you see on this, like on your screen. She said image, not envious. Like green with envy. You know, okay. Child, we just really need to go and get that public school system checked out. But okay. So let's keep going, you guys. So then we see this scene with Tiffany and Mel. Now, I don't have an issue with Mel. I like Mel, but I also can call Mel out when I see things that just don't sit right. So she sat down with Tiffany, right? So she and Tiffany, they're talking. She's telling Tiffany that, she's working on her skincare launch and she's, taking care of her kids, right? So then, Tiffany is, she's talking about the kids. So then that segues Tiffany to talking about having kids with Lewis, right? Their kids are, they're getting grown, right? So then, she's talking about, she thinks about having another little Lewis, right? I still find it hard to believe that Tiffany is 34 years old. Like, she just doesn't look it. She doesn't dress it, more specifically to say it right. So, Tiffany was talking about how she had how her pregnancy was with her son. And, she talked about she has something that they think might be hereditary. So she segued that to talking about, she wants to go to, she knows where her biological mother is. She found her biological mother, but I guess she hasn't found her father, right? So she's telling Mel she wants to go and, find her father. And Mel's like, oh my God, really? When are you going to do? I'm like, Mel, it didn't come for all of that. Like, sometimes when you see Mel on the screen, when she interacts with people, it just gives fake and it just gives affected. Like, it just gives me that vibe. And it's just like, girl, you're doing too much, right? You're doing a little too much. So yeah, she says she's going to Utah, right? So then Mel says, well, I'm a Scorpio. And I was like, here we go with that Scorpio shit again, huh? So, because this season, this is the second time that you have made mention to the fact of you being a Scorpio, right? So it was a big, huge deal that Destiny and Tisha made mention to you being a Scorpio, right? And you still won't say in what context they said it in, right? When people ask you the question, you glaze over it. So I'm just kind of curious as to what was the context of the conversation. I honestly don't care, but I just wonder what was the context of the conversation between. And I want to point that out too from last week's episode when Destiny and her was having that conversation. Destiny said, you managed to hear what me and Tisha were talking about, but did you not hear my aunt when my aunt was saying that I need to watch my back around you? She said no, she didn't hear that, but she definitely heard her conversation with Letitia. Okay, Mel, I really ain't got that much to say, but I'm going to leave it at that, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to wrap up the episode, you guys. All right, guys, so we see Wanda and her crew. So she went to go visit Keke, right? Child, this meeting was something else. So I guess Keke is just moving into this place. She didn't have her stuff was still packed up, I guess. So she said she was just being a little hood rich. And Wanda said, you said hood? She said hood rich or hood bitch? I said, no, she didn't. Keke said, I'll leave the hood bitch into you. I was like, oh my God. This is an aunt and a niece. I don't think I could never sit there and say any of that stuff to any of my aunts or my uncles. and I'm a 32-year-old man, they would slap the piss out of me, right? If I cussed any of my aunts or uncles out, right? And I even have some aunts. I have an aunt and an uncle that are my age. Actually, I have an uncle that is a year older than me, and I have an aunt that is a year younger than me. And even with them, even though we were raised together as cousins, because I thought they were my cousins until I found out they were my aunt and uncle, I still wouldn't. Yes, I would cuss them out because I've done it plenty of times. But like my older aunts and uncles that I've known from my entire life, I would never say, I'll leave the hood bitching to you. So, I just want to know who in the told and taught Miss Wanda the English dictionary. Women's, and she said, I've spoken. Well, that is correct, right? No, that's not correct. I've spoken to Tisha. I've spoken. No, she meant to say, I've spoke to Tisha. I spoke to Letitia. And when I've spoken to her, and when I spoke, nope. So I'm correct. Miss Wanda just don't know how to use the English dictionary. Either she makes up words or she doesn't know how to use the words in the correct context. And I'm just gonna need Miss Wanda to go back to the first grade and just learn the English dictionary all over again, right? Actually, somebody needs to gift Miss Wanda with the English dictionary, right? Now, Wanda and Keke going back and forth, right? And in this scene, I'm actually going to be, I was quite surprised that listening to this, that I was on Miss Wanda's side, right? Because Miss Wanda was actually, in my honest opinion, she was speaking some facts, right? So Keke feels that Melody is her friend, and Miss Wanda said Melody is not your friend. And honestly, I do agree with that, right? I have to agree with that. And people might be upset about that, but I'm in agreement with Miss Wanda that Melody is not Keke's friend. And the reason why I say that is because if you know that me and my cousin don't have a strong relationship with each other, right? Why would you? But Keke also put herself in the same position, right? So I can't put so much fault on Melody. I gotta put something on Keke, right? But if your friend knows that you have an issue with your cousin, why bring you in a group of people and then somehow we segue to a conversation about your family? Me personally, I'm not going to sit there and indulge you. I'm not going to have a conversation with you about my family, knowing your history with my cousin. I'm not going to do that. That's shady and that's messy. And Miss Wanda said that she was messy, right? And Keke said Wanda's the last person to call somebody messy. And that part I agree with too. Wanda is the last person in the world to call someone messy, right? So then Keke is talking about the fact that, once again, we're talking about the fact that Tisha had the conversation with Melody and Martell, right? Now, granted, we still don't know what the context of that conversation was, right? And maybe Tisha shouldn't have said anything, right? But you and Tisha moved past it. She apologized, y'all went out, and you moved past it. Why are we bringing something up from 4 to 5 years ago, right? Excuse me, y'all. And I saw somebody tweet this. I saw someone tweet this. 4 or 5 years ago, Keke didn't have a platform to speak about it on, right? That ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. Even if you didn't have a platform 4 or 5 years ago, you and your cousin made up with each other, right? Unless you didn't really forgive her, why are we bringing it back up now? Like, it just doesn't make a lick of sense to me. So yeah. So then Keke goes forward and talks about the fact. So it sounded like Wanda and her brother may be pitting Tisha and Keke against each other, right? And Wanda says, but that ain't got nothing to do with Tisha. And I was like, once again, I agree. That is not an issue that you have with Tisha. That is the issue that you got with your father and your Aunt Wanda. Address them with that situation, not your cousin. Don't bring your cousin into this, right? So I just really want Keke to unpack that hurt and move on with her life. So then the end of the episode, we got Tiffany and Lewis. I'm going to breeze past this scene because I really did not need this scene with Tiffany and Lewis. No shade to Tiffany and Lewis, but yeah. Tiffany and Lewis, they having a dinner. They're celebrating something. I don't know what the hell they're celebrating. Maybe an anniversary. I wasn't listening. I didn't care. All I know is when he came in there, now mind you, she had a saxophone player, but then he came in and she started unbuttoning his shirt. I'm like, whoa, pump your brakes. Nobody wants to see Big Lou without a shirt on. So then she sat down with Big Lou, told Big Lou about this whole thing about, her want to go to Utah, but she told him she wants to take Mel with her. He was in his feelings a little bit, but then he told us the reason why he was in his feelings is because he's never met her mother, right? But her ex, Big Dave, has met her mother, right? But she says Big Dave helped her find her mother. And then when I saw Big Dave, I was like, oh, so you got a type, huh? You a chubby chaser. Okay, I'm not hating on it. And that's the end of the episode, you guys. We got that trailer for what's to come later this season. The rest of the second half of this season, spicy. These shirts just bother me. They make me look all fat and stuff when I'm not fat. I just hate that they roll under like that. But that's the end of the episode review, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, and until the next time, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.